Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Stephen Melton. I'm with Partner Sales with Vega Cloud. We're excited to walk through a demo as well as a short discussion to differentiate your cloud optimization and price management practice. Joining Joanne Lammert. Say hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joanne Lammert. I am a customer success manager for ClearData. In case you don't know, ClearData is the first and only cloud compliance and security solution purpose-built for healthcare.
Thanks, Joanne. And Michael Arkush. Say hi.
Hi, guys. I'm Michael Arkush. I'm the Director of Technical Optimization at Vega Cloud. Vega Cloud is an enterprise FinOps platform designed to make FinOps practitioners' life easier to help clients gain efficiencies and become good cloud stewards of their environment.
All right, so Joanne, before we get started, for fun, what was your favorite technology growing up?
Well, there's a lot. I think my favorite is digital watches. That was huge.
Yeah.
An Atari ColecoVision, if that dates myself.
You're in good company.
I remember playing Pitfall. That was a really fun game.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to say that.
You're still in from some of my list. Michael, you're not off the hook either.
Yeah. So my favorite technology growing up was the original iPod. So I did so much research when that was coming out because I used to walk all around town with my Discman and it would skip, trips on the bus to football, like all that. We'd have the Discman. So just having that little iPod that had like 3 CDs on it was so amazing.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I go with all those. Those are all on my list.
What about DVDs? That's another one.
Yes. I remember VHSs. So great. Let's go ahead and talk through a couple of things that we're going to cover, right? Michael's got a great background experience and, of course, walking through the platform. So it'll be the format of looking at the platform, covering some highlights and points, and then really driving into those. Partner experience, looking at it from the lens of really how partners are able to support and engage with their clients. Customer insights, multi-cloud operations. How do you put multiple public clouds together in a centralized story for supporting the customer's journey? And then ultimately looking at how do you centralize and really synthesize those specific commitments. So those will really be the highlights that we're going to cover today. Let's jump in. Michael, it'd be great to see in the partner experience and health dashboards now looking at executive KPIs and some of the walkthrough in the platform, if possible.
Yeah. First, let me share my screen here. All right. So what we have here is what we call our executive KPI dashboard. And this is kind of your one-stop shop to see the overall health of your environment. If you are an MSP, this will show you across all your clients. As a partner organization, this will show you, just your generic health across your entire organization, whether it's looking at committed use savings, effective savings rates, the percentage of your environment that's using Windows, how effectively, you're using the different tiers of cloud storage. This gives you one place to really dive into all of those different aspects. You can drill into different groups, whether it's an executive group, business group, underlying clients, so that you can see how they do on a macro or micro level. And really, this gives you just an understanding of where you are as an organization and where there might be areas of improvement.
Thanks, Michael. Joanne, just curious on the health dashboards for MSPs. How do you feel that's really helping drive your business and really support in your customers' engagement?
Well, as an MSP, we provide a variety of services to our customers, and one of those is FinOps. So we turn to Vega to do that. By utilizing their tool, I'm able to provide guidance and information to our customers related to cost savings and opportunities. Having a single pane of glass, looking at all the clouds for that customer, it's been very helpful. I can provide reports to my customers and even do trending.
Nice. That's awesome. So, Arkush, when it comes to health dashboards, executive KPIs, what's really some of the vision and history behind how Vega was helping in this regard?
Yeah, and Joanne kind of hit it on the head here with that single pane of glass, that high-level view. This was really meant to be one spot where, executive or a team leader could log in and just know what's going on in their environment, know where there might be some areas of improvement, making sure that everybody was on the same page as to, what's important and where we can move forward and make progress.
Michael, it'd be great to see some customer insights and Cost Navigator dashboards as well through the demo.
I'd love to. So as we come over to the Cost Navigator, what we have is a more detailed view of where we're spending in the cloud, what we're spending on, who's spending it. So we have a 13-month trended view. We can see, where were we at this time last year compared to this year? Are we trending up? Are we trending down? We can see month over month by our different product groups. So we give a good overall understanding of who and where we're spending in the cloud. And then we're able to drive into these different areas and understand, okay, at a macro level, we have a dip or we have an increase. Well, what's driving it? What product? What detail under the product? Anybody who's familiar with cloud billing understands that all the providers kind of throw lots of details into a generic product name. So we can go here and we can parse all of that out. We can see it by tag. We can see it by, application, environment, the different products. We have different categorizations that Vega breaks out, like your detail category, which leads you down to, backups or NAT gateway, whatever it is, we can drill into it. And then we can change how we're looking at it as far as, maybe we want to look at cash. We want to look at fiscal with that amortization amount. We want to look at our on-demand equivalent. Maybe we don't share the savings of RIs or savings plans down to individual groups or clients, so they see everything at an on-demand. So it's important for us to understand, what's our on-demand cost to look like. We can group our spend by all these different categories, allowing us really to dive in and research the what's and whys that are driving our cloud spend and how it impacts our day-to-day analysis.
Great. Thanks, Rakesh. So Joanne, again, great high level in looking at the health dashboards and driving for executive KPIs. How about the customer insights and the Cost Navigator particularly? It sounds like maybe you spend a bit more time there.
Yes, I spend the bulk of my time with the Cost Navigator. I really like this feature because it allows me to drill in for a customer that has multiple clouds. I can separate it by the different cloud platforms. I can go by subscription or by account. That's very helpful to me to pinpoint where certain spend spikes might be showing. I do actually have one customer who utilizes a tagging management strategy, and they've broken out their costs into business units so that they can use it for internal chargebacks, finding out which application team or development team is spending more or less. It's able to help them budget more effectively.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you. So Arkush, we're looking at Cost Navigator, heard good examples. What's some of the vision, what's some of the backstory on that as well for initially helping customers?
Yeah, so this initially came out of a customer request because they wanted to be able to understand their spend and really see what was driving it. And they didn't have a lot of good options. There were some cloud native solutions that weren't providing, the level of detail they needed. So this came as a way for us to help our clients, our groups under Vega internally, just really understand what's driving the spend and who's driving it, and push forward on not only, it's great to know what's driving the spend and where it's going, but make sure that we can keep it in control, right? And move from here into the next stage of our cloud journey.
Michael, maybe looking at multi-cloud operations and anomalies dashboards.
Yeah, let me jump on over here. All right, so coming on over to anomalies, Vega has a pretty robust anomaly detection platform. We can come in here, we can see our anomalies across clouds, across different environments or application teams, and we can define what we consider an anomaly. So we can come here, we can define a threshold, whether it's 10, 15, 20%. We have different anomaly types. So we have a true anomaly, so anything based off the last 7 days that has a spike or increase in spend. We can look at flattening out spikes. We can look at spikes for monthly billing resources. So you have workloads that get billed once a month. We can see those spikes. We can call out different our auto parking schedule spikes. And so we have all these different ways that we can look at it, and we come over here and say, well, it's great that it's over 10%. I don't care about anything though that's under $500 in monthly change based off the last 7 days. And I can come in here and I can see what's driving my change over the last 7 days. So, I've got a lot of change in application tag 4 across both my compute and my logging. So I can come in here and I can truly understand where my spend is being changed, and I can get in front of things. So before this becomes an issue, I can come in here, I can understand what's driving the change, and then I can go back to that navigator tab. I can really research the details around it, and I can go back to the application teams to derive further understanding.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Joanne, curious. So prior, we were talking customer insights, cost navigator. You're spending quite a bit of time there. Multi-cloud operations and anomalies. I think that's a click into probably the one above. Maybe a couple of examples or where this has been really helpful for you.
Well, it definitely helps eliminate surprises. So anomalies can rack up between invoices, not knowing that you're going to have a huge spike. That can be terrifying to your budget. So I really like setting these with my customers so that we're aware of certain anomalies, if you will.
Great. Arkush, when looking at anomalies, I've heard many stories, good and bad ones from anomalies in past. Maybe telling a little bit of some examples or where we came from with supporting customers with anomalies.
Yeah, this used to be something back in my practitioner's days I did manually every day. I would pull the data that I needed into Excel, look at the trend day over day. And so this was really driven out of a need from internal users, clients, to just get in front of those anomalies and stop them before they became material. So we've had all sorts of examples where clients had, elastic clusters spun up that were the same size of production in dev. They were costing them, 10, 20 grand. And so getting those stopped before they continue to ramp up. Or someone uses a security feature like WAF and they have unexpected costs that pop up from there. So this really drove from that need to, if I can get in front of those cost anomalies or those spikes, I can mitigate the damage and make sure that not only do we mitigate the damage, we use it as an educational purpose so people understand what the cost of their actions is.
Centralizing commitments and how we help on committed use discounts.
Yeah. So let me come back over here to our navigator tab and come over to our committed use discount dashboard. So it's important, especially when working, with MSPs or different large organizations, to understand where we have opportunity to hedge against our spend. So we have, multiple MSP clients where they buy RIs to hedge against internal spend. We have clients that pass that spend on. So ensuring that you're able to see truly where your RIs and savings plans are running coverage across all your clouds is extremely important. It's also important to understand, where there's opportunity or where we can help you drive continued value. So what we have here up top is across all areas where we can have committed use discounts. Where do we have those discounts? Are they RIs? Are they savings plans? GCP calls them committed use. So where do we actually see that coverage? We can come down here in detail into the different categories of all the different types of committed use. And where there's is important too is if you don't pass this on to, underlying clients or underlying business groups, understanding at that corporate level, but then also understanding where there might be opportunity at an individual client or business group level to purchase those at that level so that the client or your business group can go ahead and purchase. And so we'll show them where they have coverage and where they don't have coverage. And then at that corporate level, where that full coverage is. So you see both pieces of the pie.
Great. Thanks, Michael. All right, Joanne. So last discussion, centralizing commitments, looking at committed use discounts. Now, how are we prioritizing those?
This is really great in helping customers save on their costs. If they're not having a savings plan or a reserved instance in place, that can really hurt their bottom line. So we like to use Vega for providing recommendations and other savings opportunities. It's great for a visual of how your environment's doing.
So really interesting points. Joanne, do you mind maybe sharing a little bit more insights, both from how you're viewing customers and also some of the prep for looking at, engaging with customers on, their health and hygiene of their accounts?
Sure. I really like the fact that I can look at all of my customers and flip between them. So if I have a few customers that are looking at the same question or issue, I can flip between them. And that's really great for us. Also, I like to do the optimization piece. It's more of the waste cleanup, unused load balancers and databases. If you have older discs that have been out there for a while, lingering, that adds to your costs. So I like to use that in preparation for my customer business reviews. It really makes it a breeze because all I have to do is copy paste or just grab the graph. You guys have it all laid out for me. It makes it simple.
Nice. No, great examples. Thank you. All right, Michael, recommendations and how we weight in them and helping with prioritization.
Yeah. Let me pop over here to Vega Optimize. So when we think about recommendations, we think about it in several different ways. We give you one view that will show you all your recommendations across all your different cloud providers. But we also want you to be able to slice this and look at it by client, by business group, by application, and see where that opportunity really lies, right? Do I want to focus on an application team? Do I want to focus on an individual client? And when we give you these savings numbers, we're not just looking at on-demand savings rate. If I go from size A to size B, it's not at that on-demand rate. We're looking at the true cost of the resource, and that cost can have a markup on it. If you don't pass through RI or savings plan discounts, we'll show that at on-demand rates. So this gives you that one view of what the true savings to your end user is going to be, and it allows you to slice it in different ways. And so we'll give you the all-up recommendations here, and then because you need the details behind it, we have all these detail tabs. They'll give you the information behind each of the resource recommendations. And a good example of where these recommendation details come in handy is when we're looking at things like auto parking or right sizing, and people are saying, well, I can't park that resource because we have people around the world, they're developing against it 24/7. It always has to be on. Well, we show you the data to fight those arguments and make sure that people understand that, yes, you may be looking at something that is on most of the time, but we can see here where our CPU on nights and weekends is never above that 25% mark, or never above, maybe we want to be more aggressive and look at anything on nights and weekends that's less than 5% CPU. Because not only are these candidates for parking, these are candidates to right size and go through and say, okay, well, how do we, be more efficient in our cloud usage? And we come down here and we have all the details here. And these detail tabs are great for getting, what's the nitty gritty of where I can save money. But a lot of times what you need to focus on is what are the one or two big ticket items that I can hit throughout the month to start generating that savings, just to get that, forward momentum going. And so on our savings overview tab, we give you a quick hit list, right? These are things that we can focus on. And if we can, remove this one snapshot, or we can look at this one EC2 instance and move it to a new family or right size it, we can gain a good amount of savings for that month right here by doing one action. So just giving you the tools you need to understand all the detail behind the recommendations, but also just that quick hit list of how can we move forward and just get that one recommendation, or that, that one team to start actioning and moving forward and getting that progress and getting that trust in, this is an all up activity that's for the benefit of the whole group. Because with that, savings, you can go through and you can start playing with the fun new technologies. You can start developing that net new application.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Joanne, so I heard a couple of things I liked. One, obviously giving recommendations. That's always good. And two, giving context, right? And so hopefully creating a cheat sheet or a short list. So maybe some ways in which those are helpful for you, and any other insights you want to share.
Absolutely. And Michael had it right. The quick wins, going through and looking to see what you can do quickly to help your customers save money. It's huge with the support management. You have upsell remediation opportunities. Suppose they don't have the resources to do a family refresh. That's where we can offer additional services for our customers. If they're not aware that they have an idle load balancer or database running and they didn't know that it was there, well, let's get that turned off so we can save you some money. Those are things that I like to recommend to our customers.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Context is, I feel that what I've heard in the past as well is extremely important. So it's good you're getting insight there. Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
And Akush, looking at recommendations, context is everything. So I think is very important how folks have used it. Maybe a little bit of background on, where we were at with supporting customers initially.
Yeah. So where we're at with recommendations today really drove from client feedback. We would provide recommendations and people would be like, what would make this great is if we had this additional data set, or, what would make this really useful or more meaningful or more actionable is to be able to understand this aspect of it, whether it's, the data resource was spun up or the data became idle, CPU, memory utilization. When looking at auto parking, understanding when things are truly spinning up and spinning down or when they're being used. So where we're at from a recommendation standpoint was really driven by what do you need to make that recommendation. And so, we talked about low hanging fruit and focusing on that and giving people the ability to really to just target, how do I get the ball rolling, is the motivation behind how we set up our recommendations and the data behind, or the data we provide behind it.
Great. Thanks, Michael, for walking us through. Joanne, thanks for really sharing your insights. Really appreciate it. As we wrap up, Joanne, would love to hear just kind of your experience in general working with Vega Cloud, how it's continued to help you in your journey, and any other insights you have to pass on to folks that are considering out the platform and trying to continue to improve their FinOps journey.
Sure, absolutely. So ClearData clientele are exclusively in the healthcare, and Vega has passed all of the security scrutiny necessary to serve the customers, which is a huge deal, right? Other optimization providers that I have worked with previously, I felt like you needed a degree to maneuver around in the tool. That's not the case here with Vega. The tool is very user-friendly. Once you know what you're looking for and how to ask the question, you can use all of the different filters to get any kind of information that you want. That's been very helpful. As a managed service provider, any request that we have, the tickets get actioned very quickly. We have regular cadence calls with our support teams, which is nice. It's awesome to get that quick response. The feedback that we've provided has been actioned. There's always updates and new releases coming out. So that's very exciting to see.
And just to follow up on that a bit, and from the Vega side, it's always great working with clients that are engaged and really utilizing the platform. We take all feedback seriously. As Joanne says, we try and turn things around as they pop up so that we can continue to provide that value to the end user. Vega was built by FinOps practitioners for FinOps practitioners to make people's lives easier. And so we continue to strive to do that through the changes we make, through the feedback we get from clients, working with CSMs on the different accounts to ensure we're providing exactly what you guys need. That's what, puts a smile on my face every time I log into work in the morning, is making sure that, end of day, we're making people's lives easier.
Oh, thanks. That's great to hear. Thanks both of you for sharing. Now that we're wrapping up, we'd also have a follow-up with Q&A as well. And to really consolidate, make things, I guess, easy for everyone, please do submit, and we'll be happy to pass those on to both Joanne and Akush, and then follow up accordingly and provide any additional questions you may have. But again, Michael and Joanne, thank you again very much for your time. We'd love to hear inquiry from folks that did attend and listen, and we'd love to get your feedback and questions, and we'll be following up with you. So really appreciate it.
Thanks for including me.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.